For number 40, the figure is a square. It tells you the perimeter is 48. So if you want to find y, it's one of the sides. We know in a square, all sides are the same. So if we take 48, which is the perimeter, divide it by 4 sides, we're going to get 12. So y is 12. The other thing we know about squares is that the angles are 90 degrees. The diagonals are also perpendicular. So the measure of angle 1 is going to be 90. And the diagonals bisect the angles, so each little section here actually ends up being 45 degrees. So angle 2 is 45 degrees. To solve for x, we're going to do 4x minus 7 equals 45. We're going to add 7 to both sides, which is 52, and dividing by 4, we're going to get 13. For 41, this is a proportion that we're just going to solve, so we are going to cross multiply. So we are going to get 15x equals 14. Divide both sides by 15. If you type this into a calculator, it's a pretty nasty decimal, and we don't want to round when we're doing proportions, so I'm going to go ahead and just leave it like this. For 42, not sure what happened to our symbol, but we're supposed to classify this triangle. So we want to start by graphing. So negative 2, 0 is v, w is negative 2, 5, x is 1, 3, and so here's our triangle. Now, if we want to classify it, we need to know the side lengths. Anytime you have ordered pairs, what you want to do is do the distance formula. However, since WV is just a vertical line, if you have a vertical or horizontal line, you can actually just count and save yourself some time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. WV is 5. Unfortunately, the other two, we don't get so lucky, so we're going to have to do the distance formula. I'm going to start with WX, and then just as a reminder, this is your distance formula, which is given to you on the exam review. The exam, like during the exam, you don't have to memorize it. So I'm going to label W as x1, y1, and x as x2, y2. So x2 is 1 minus negative 2 squared plus 3 minus 5 squared. I'm going to actually do that subtraction, so 1 minus negative 2 ends up being addition. So I get 3. And then 3 minus 5 is negative 2. When I square, I get 9 and 4, which is square root of 13. Then I am going to do my last side. So I'm going to relabel my points. I'm doing Vx. So I'm going to label V as x1, y1, and x as x2, y2. And I'm going to fill in my distance formula, which would look like 1 minus negative 2 squared plus 3 minus 0 squared. This would become addition, so that'd be 3 squared plus 3 squared, which would be 9 and 9, which is square root of 18. If I look at my 3 side lengths, none of them match, and that makes this a scalene triangle. If I solve for 43, I am cross multiplying, so x times x, that's x squared. 7 times 2, that's 14. I take the square root, and I get plus or minus square root of 14. On 44, we want to put these in parentheses before we start solving. And then we're going to go ahead and cross multiply. So I have 9 times the quantity x plus 10. And then I have 8 times the quantity x minus 7. And then I'm going to go ahead and distribute both. So 9x plus 90 equals 8x minus 56. Subtract 8x from both sides. and then subtract 90 from both sides, and x equals negative 146. If you want to classify a triangle, we are going to use this formula, and the most important part of it is that you put c squared on the left. Remember, c is always the largest side, so we're going to put 14 there. So 14 squared, you're going to leave a space, and then a squared plus b squared. 14 squared is 196, 7 squared is 49, 8 squared is 64, and then we're just going to add those two together. When we add them together, we are going to get 113, and then we're just comparing, so you're asking yourself, is 196 greater than, less than, or equal to 113, and it's greater than, which makes this obtuse. So we're going to do the exact same thing on 46. So 7 squared is the biggest, and then 3 squared plus 5 squared. This is 49. 9 plus 25. 9 plus 25 is 34. And then I compare, 49 is greater than 34, which makes this obtuse. For 47, we're going to do Pythagorean theorem, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And c is always the largest side, which is across from the right angle. So 3 squared plus 4 squared equals x squared. This would be 9, 16. Add those together, you get 25. Take the square root, x equals 5. And then for the last one over here, again, c is always across from the right angle. So x squared plus 14 squared equals 50 squared. 14 squared is 196. 50 squared is 2,500. Subtract 196 from both sides, which is 2304. And then take the square root, and you get 48.